Final Wars was good friends with Inuyasha and Kikyo. And he honestly was aware of Inuyasha and Kikyo's relationship. They kept it a secret from the village. The village that worshipped Final Wars. They kept it a secret, but when Final Wars revealed that he was aware of their relationship, they were shocked. And they even asked him how long was he aware of their relationship, and he told them that he was aware for at least around a month and a half. But of course, that was when Naraku came in and framed Inuyasha from attacking Kikyo, and framed Kikyo from attacking Inuyasha, causing the two lovebirds to hate each other now. And eventually, Inuyasha was sealed away to the sacred tree, and Kikyo died from her injuries. Final Wars, he honestly knew that someone framed Inuyasha and Kikyo. He knew that someone did it, but he had to find out who. Who and why. And it wasn't before long until he realized that Kikyo was meant to guard a jewel called the Sacred Jewel. And the Sacred Jewel will enhance the abilities of any demon who consumes power, who absorbs the power. And that was what what Inuyasha originally wanted. Now because he wanted to become a stronger demon. But eventually, he didn't want that power anymore when he met Kikyo. And when Kikyo brought up the idea for Inuyasha to turn human. At least in the theory. Anyways, Final Wars was deeply depressed. Because he was very attached to Kikyo and Inuyasha. And he loved them as if they were his brother and sister. Because he never had any siblings, apart from Biollante and Space Godzilla, but they were more like his half-siblings. Inuyasha and Kikyo acted like his real brother and sister, and wanted them to be happy, to live happy. But of course that did not happen. And so Final Wars began hunting down Naraku, but couldn't find him anywhere. Meanwhile, on the Legendary side of the story, Legendary was still deeply depressed after losing his mom and dad. He couldn't stop mourning for their losses. He ended up creating his own team. But after he did that, he decided to go for a little patrol. And this is when he came across the island of the devils. When he came across the island of the devils, he saved Eren and Historia from her father. And ever since then, he has earned the trust of the Survey Corps. The scouts trusted him. They have heard the legends of the Godzillas, but they never actually thought that they would actually meet one. To them, this was more like encountering a god. It was the greatest honor they could ever ask for. And Legendary quickly befriended them. And it wasn't before long until he decided to bring his own team to the island. And ended up telling the Survey Corps everything they knew about the outside world. And eventually, Legendary ended up telling them everything about his backstory, about the death of his father and mother, and how his parents were the greatest king and queen of the entire world. And of course, he continued to remain their friend for years. And it wasn't before long until eventually everyone knew everything about the outside world. Now, moving on to Godzilla Ultimate's side of the story. His side of the story was a bit more different. He met Ruby and her friends a bit more differently. When he met them at first, he did not like them at all. The reason why is because he was kinda, well, a different Gojira. It wasn't because of his appearance. It was actually because of, well, the fact that he didn't like humans that much. He met them during their big fight at Mantle, I think. I can't remember what that one area was named. The area where everyone had that big fight in Volume 8, I mean not Volume 8, Volume 5, Chapter 12 in Ruby, there. And this is when Blake met Godzilla Ultima. She met him when he saved her life from Legion. He saved her from Legion. At first, he wanted to kill them. Because like I said before, he was not a big fan of humans. He absolutely hated humans. Reason why was because, for unknown reasons. No one actually never knew the reason why he disliked humans. But eventually, when he saw Oscar with Ozpin's weapon, he quickly snapped out of it. He quickly calmed down and apologized. And this was when he became their friend. Ultima became their friend over time. And he ended up discovering that Oscar and Ruby had a crush on each other. He was aware for quite some time and just didn't mention it. Mainly because he wanted to surprise them once when the time was right. Now back onto Final Wars' side of the story. When Inuyasha woke up, Final Wars discovered that Inuyasha was traveling with a woman who was the quote-unquote reincarnation of Kikyo. And that woman was Kagome. But in reality, Final Wars eventually discovered that Kagome was nothing more but a clone. A less cool-looking clone. And Final Wars quickly ended up despising Kagome because of how the way she was treating Inuyasha. She was mistreating Inuyasha very poorly. She was being a jerk, and she ended up, within a way, abusing Inuyasha. Kind of. And so Final Wars made it his personal mission to find a way to bring Kikyo back. Final Wars was willing to do anything he can to find a way to bring Kikyo back. Even considering on trying to ask the Mothras, well, Mothra, not the Mothras, he even considering on asking Mothra to see if she could find a way to bring Kikyo back. But eventually, Kikyo was resurrected, but more like a demon of herself. She ended up needing the souls of dead people to keep her on Earth. Which it kind of was a good thing, but at the same time, not really. That's not the kind of life that Final Wars it wanted for Kikyo. And she quickly despised Inuyasha, but eventually calmed down when she discovered that it wasn't Inuyasha who killed her, but instead, it was Naraku.